He'd worked with people like them half his life. They were the best people he'd ever known. Serious, friendly, sharp-witted, generous, enthusiastic, overworked, and he was betraying them with every moment that he kept quiet about what he'd witnessed. Their smiles made the knowledge all the harder to bear. It was all he could do not to turn and walk out of the room. He conjured up an image of Naomi and held it tight. Paul finished his introductions at a 30-ish slim woman with no-nonsense short blonde hair and an angular make-up-free face. "This is D.I. Emma Steele. Emma will bring you up to date on the investigation. Right, Jack, I'll have to leave you to it. I've got calls to make. Give me a knock before you leave." Paul headed back to his office. Emma spread her hands and said, "Welcome to hell." The deadpan remark went a long way to easing Jack's nerves. "That bad, is it? I've trawled through God knows how many hours of CCTV footage in the past few days. Only another few thousand to go. So, what do you want to know?" "Everything you've got." "We've got a lot, but not much, if you know what I mean. Tell you what, let's start at the beginning." Emma led Jack to an aerial photo of Fletcher Moss Park. She pointed to a wooded area at the eastern edge of the park. "This is where the first victim, Abigail, was found. There were traces of blood 20 metres to the east on Millgate Lane. The houses on the opposite side of the lane are screened by trees, so the killer could act without too much risk of being seen. Abigail was dragged through the bushes into the park. She may have already been dead or unconscious since there was no evidence of defence wounds. She was stabbed 14 times in her back, chest and abdomen. The fatal blow entered her back and pierced her heart. Most of the other wounds were shallow. Further traces of blood were found 40 metres to the southeast at a dirt access road to the park. We believe the killer may have parked the vehicle there. It had rained that night, and we were able to make casts of a pair of tyre prints and a partial footprint." Emma rooted out photos of the casts and print. "As you can see, the tyre tread is worn down. They're of a size and type used on smaller cars, so that narrows it down to about 20 million cars." "Or one small silver car," thought Jack. "We think the footprint was made by a trainer," said Emma. "Notes a circular tread and pattern and wide heel. We're still trying to ID the brand. We estimate it's a size 7. There's a lot of wear on the inner heel. I used to do that to my shoes when I was a kid. My mum gave me hell for it. Said I'd end up flat-footed." "And she was right," quipped D.I. Steve Platts, a crew-cut 40-something who looked as if he'd found his way into the police from the army. "Ignore Steve," said Emma. "He's just jealous because I've got bigger feet than him." Jack started to smile, but stopped himself. He couldn't allow himself to be lulled into a false sense of security by the familiar banter. He needed to stay on his guard, keep his colleagues at arm's length. "So, you work with the DCI in Sussex?" said Steve. "We joined up at the same time." Jack wondered what else his new colleagues knew about him. Had Paul told them about Rebecca? The possibility made him feel exposed and ashamed, as if they might wonder, as he so often did himself, whether he was somehow responsible for her death. He brought the conversation back to the matter at hand. "What about the second crime scene?" "This guy's a bag of laughs," Jack caught Steve remarking as Emma moved on to an aerial photo of Alexandra Park. He was relieved to hear the sarcastic aside. It surely meant that D.I. Platts didn't know about Rebecca. Either that or he was an insensitive arsehole. Jack made a mental note to steer clear of Steve. "There are similarities between where Abigail and Zoe were found," said Emma. "There are also differences. Zoe's body was approximately 100 metres into the park. There was no sign of it having been moved." "The killer was more experienced," observed Jack. "They chose a better spot." "I don't know about that, but I'll tell you this. They were a lot more brutal. Zoe was stabbed 30 times in the face, back, neck, chest, etc., and the cut in her abdomen was twice as long." Emma scrunched her nose. It was not a pleasant sight. "Imagine the biggest rush, the highest high, With those words echoing back to him, Jack said,